Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Desiree in case you are new or you're just clicking because of the title, but I am holding baby boy. This is Coda Micaele Suazo, and he's currently somewhat asleep. He's kind of waking up, but I wanted to share my story of my labor, how it went, where I went, a little bit of the postpartum, everything. I put up like on my Instagram a little chance for people to ask like certain questions that they wanted me to answer when I do this. So I'll be making sure to answer everything. But yeah, this is probably the only way I'm gonna record this. I've been like thinking about it for the past couple of days. It's been almost 2 weeks. It's been like a week and a half since he's been born. So yeah. So I wanted to start from the beginning. So early labor. First of all, my due date was March 28th. So nothing happened it was my birthday. My birthday was my due date. Nothing happened. We roll into Thursday, March 30th. So on Thursday, March 30th, I think was the very, very, very beginning of my early labor. So that night, I basically started feeling, I guess, early contractions, but for me, it just felt like period cramps, but they were super tolerable. So I didn't really think much of it, but I knew like it was probably a sign that labor was coming. So that night I was experiencing a lot of cramps, and I have a contraction timer, so I started timing them just in case they were contractions and I didn't know. And they went like all night long. Then Friday morning comes, and when I went to the bathroom, the first time I went to the bathroom, I had what they call bloody show, which is basically like you have some of your mucus plug and like a drip of blood, or maybe it's like pink mucus in your mucus plug, but they call it bloody show. And usually that's when like your cervix is dilating or something like that. He's like dreaming or something. But so I thought something was gonna happen. And that was Thursday, the 30th of March. Friday morning, March 31st, we had an OB appointment. So I was like, thank God, like I can ask them, blah, blah, blah. So we go to my OB, and I didn't have her check me because I had been checked for my like cervix dilation so many times. And the first time I got checked, I was only a 1. So it kind of got like it made me more anxious, like if nothing was progressing. And so I didn't have her check me. I was just telling her like, I don't think I've had any contractions. I told her about my cramp pains, and she said like, no, you'll know like when it's a contraction, like it's gonna be like strong. You are gonna feel it, like you're gonna know the difference. So I didn't do anything. Friday, the rest of the day, literally no cramps, no pains, no nothing. I felt like a normal day again. So it was like, okay, false alarm. Like I was just cramping. I don't know. So then Saturday goes normal. It's our anniversary. Saturday is our wedding anniversary. We celebrate at home. And then that night, starting around 10:30 p.m. So Saturday night came around 10:30. I started feeling the cramps again. And these cramps were a little bit stronger, and they were happening like the way that you hear contractions happen. Like, oh, every 15 minutes it starts, it lasts like 30 seconds, and then it goes away. And so I started getting like nervous, like, oh my God, it's go time. Like they're starting. And my husband was asleep already. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wake him just in case this is like a false alarm. So I'm going to walk. Everyone says walk, bounce, blah, blah, blah. So I go to my closet. It's like a walking closet. And I just start walking like up and down the closet. And I started recording because I was like, oh my God, like if this is my last night, this is my last time with my belly. and I want to have like the memories. So I trying to get him like get it going down. So then it continues all night, and I started tracking. They became like 15 minutes apart to 10 minutes apart. By 6 a.m. on April 1st, I had more bloody show. So the first time I go to the bathroom in that morning, I had bloody show again, a little bit more than the Thursday. So it was like 2 times it came out with my mucus plug. And so I was like, okay, I think it's actually like whatever. I was like, but last time it stopped after I got up for the day. So I didn't want to say anything again. So I tried to lay back in bed. When I got back in bed, it seemed like every time I laid down, they were more painful. So my husband started waking up around 7, and he saw me like clenching my face and like kind of tearing up. And he's like, what's going on? Like, are you having contractions? And I was like, I think I am. He's like, when did they start? I'm like, literally last night, like 10 o'clock, and it's been happening all night. I was like, but they were tolerable, and I didn't know if they were contractions, so I didn't wake you, blah, blah, blah. So then he's like, you know what, like, if this is the day, like, I'm going to clean the house. We're going to have it all ready in case we have to go to the hospital. He's like, you should call your mom. And so I was like, he was getting a little excited, and I was a little nervous because I hear so many times where people, like, go too early and then it's not time and whatever. And I wanted to be sure, like, we were going to go. So this is Sunday morning. So Sunday, April 2nd. So April 2nd, it's a Sunday. I tell my mom what's going on. I told her the whole night and what I've been going through, but I also told her how I've had a false alarm before. So I was like, maybe you can just come over and like hang out with us and just see like if it progresses or not. At least you'll be with us. And if not, whatever. Like, she lives down the street, so it'd be no big deal. So she came over, and we ended up all going out to eat around like 10 o'clock in the morning. So we all go get some tacos. We're chilling. My cramps kind of stopped when we were eating, and then as soon as we got back home, they started again. And I think after that, around like 11 a.m., they were getting a little more intense. And I was tracking them, and they were definitely very consistent, and they were starting to get shorter, like every 10 minutes, but then sometimes it'd be 15 minutes, sometimes it'd be 7 minutes, but they started getting closer little by little. But again, I felt like they weren't like, you know how like the movies, like everyone's like, like screaming, going through them, and like they know it's time to go, or like their water breaks or something. I felt like I hadn't gotten there. And so I was like, I don't want to go to the hospital. Like, I don't. And my husband and my mom were both pushing me like, you should just go. Oh, and I left this out. So I'm past 40 weeks at this point. I'm like 40 weeks, 5 days. And I actually had an induction scheduled for the next day, for April 4th at 1:30 in the morning. So basically the next night at like midnight. And so he was like, my husband, he's like, just let's go to the hospital. He's like, even if you're not like super dilated or whatever, he's like, you're literally going to get induced tomorrow. Maybe they'll just keep you. Maybe they'll see that and they'll be like, you're going to come back tomorrow anyways. Like, I don't know. They were both just pushing me to go. And I was like, okay, but be prepared. Like, I could get sent back home. So this is Sunday around by 6 p.m. We left and got there. It's like down the street. We ended up going to Banner Estrella, and we got there around like 6:30, like to the triage. And she admitted me in. Well, she didn't admit me to the hospital. She let me into triage where they would check my cervix again and look at my contractions. So I get in, and you guys, she said I was at 1.5. She's like, you're a 1.5. Your cervix is very soft and thin, which is good, but he's like back there. And I was like, bruh. So I was telling myself, like, you're definitely going home. Like, I hear so many stories of people at like a 2 or 3 and they even got sent home. But she was like, you know what, we're going to track your contractions. I'm going to talk to the doctors and the team and see what they decide. So then they let my husband in, and he's like, what happened? Because it took a long time. And I'm like, I'm barely at 1.5. And then so she comes back and she tells us, I'm going to have you guys walk for an hour. She's like, walk the circle of the hospital. It's 7 o'clock. You have till 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, you're going to come back and we're going to check you again. She's like, and then we're going to look at your contractions. And she's like, and then we'll reconvene with the doctor team and see what they want to do. And I'm like, an hour of walking, like, I've been doing this for days, like an hour is not going to do anything, but fine. So we go on this walk. We are literally laughing and just joking around and trying to be positive because we've been very anxious. Like, we just wanted him here. And in between, like, hallways, we're squatting. And by the end of, like, the last 10 minutes, we did some figure eights on the yoga ball in our room.
You supposed to be the one tired.
And she checks me at 8 p.m. So at 7 p.m., I'm 1.5 dilated. And then by 8 p.m., I got to 4.5. After she checked me, just from 1 hour of walking and a little bit of squats, I went from 1.5 to 4.5 centimeters dilated. And I was not expecting that. My husband was not expecting that. And we were like, no way. And she's like, you're definitely going to get kept. You're definitely staying. And it just like, boom, like it hit me. And from there, we waited for them to let my mom in. I was still indecisive about wanting an epidural or not. I kind of was telling myself, like, you can do it without one, like, you don't need one, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, the contractions at a 4.5 were getting pretty strong. And I was like, I just can't imagine what they're going to feel like at a full 10. I don't want to, like, not enjoy this experience or, like, anything, whatever. Like, I don't know. I decided to take the epidural. And then she also told me if I took the epidural, like, we would probably get into labor and delivery faster and all this stuff. And so something told me to go with getting an epidural. So we went. So they gave me the epidural, and which wasn't that bad, but it was kind of scary because I don't like when I can't see things. But after I got the epidural, it basically slowed down my dilation progress. Like, you know, in 1 hour I went from 1.5 to a 4.5, but after the epidural got injected in me, my progression was like every hour I would barely get to another centimeter, or even a couple hours. So it definitely slowed down. Long story short, I went in labor. I was from early labor to finish for 15 hours. So like the whole time, it was just a lot of checking up on the baby. They would put the heartbeat monitor on me. They lost his heartbeat. Like, the monitor kept like coming off and not tracking him right. So they ended up having to actually put it like up in me on his head. I don't know how they do this stuff. Like, it's amazing. But they put like a monitor on his head to keep track of his heartbeat, because the one on my belly wasn't staying. And when they did that, she broke my water for me because it wasn't going on its own. And then I believe by like 5 in the morning, April 3rd, 5 in the morning-ish, is when I was getting close to like 8 centimeters. You're 8 centimeters, but we're going to start having you push now and then like see the progression from there. And I was like, okay, whatever. So at 8 centimeters, we started pushing, and my husband and my mom, they kind of had to refresh me on this because honestly, when all of this stuff going on, I don't know how many times I pushed. Like, I don't remember it. I just remember pushing, like, I wanted him here so bad. And I wouldn't say it was painful. I would say it was tiring. I would say for me, the epidural was helping me a lot with the pain. The pain was helping me push. Like, I felt enough to push, but it wasn't painful where I was like traumatized. So when I would push, you have to like literally push for 10 seconds. You have to hold your breath and then breathe in and go again. And you have to push 3 10-second pushes back to back. And my mom and my husband said I did it in like 7 pushes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go. 1.
Again.
2,
Push.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So good. And then take a breath. Go right back in because that's a nice, good one. So I think the labor of contractions and dilating was very long, but the actual pushing was like less than an hour. And honestly, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life. I remember her saying like she saw the hair, and my mom and my husband were like, he has so much hair, and that just made me like like he's so close, like I'm just gonna push him out. And she was like, okay, like I think we can get him, whatever. So on that last one, like I remember um just pushing with like everything in me, and then just hearing him come out and everything, like it was amazing. um Did I tear? Yes, I tore. Not a lot. She's at first, like, for a long time, I was good and I didn't tear. I think until that very last push, when after his head was kind of like coming out, I did tear a little bit, but like my recovery was pretty good, because the first night was a little uncomfortable in the hospital. When I would sit on my, like, just sitting down too long, I could feel it. But I would say now we're almost 14 days postpartum, and I almost am done bleeding, which it's been almost 2 weeks, and my bleeding's like almost done. It's basically like a light period right now, like an ending one or a beginning one. Um, and I would say my back hurt more than down there. Like, I don't know if it's from the epidural, I don't know if it's because of the position he was in, but my back had a lot of pain. Compared to down there. But also I think everyone's experience is different. Like some people tear differently, all kinds of stuff. And he was 7 pounds 8 ounces, and he was 21.5 inches long. And we already had his first appointment, and they said he's going to be a tall boy. And I can tell because his feet are so long in his fingers. And I can't show you right now because he's in a little onesie, but I could probably insert pictures and videos of him towards the end so you guys can see. But yeah, so overall, Banner Estrella was amazing. The whole time, the nurses made me very comfortable. They had my mom and my husband on both sides of me. Anytime we were doing something, they helped with my legs up, and like I felt like it was just one nurse and them two the whole time, and it made me feel very comfortable. I wasn't scared. I was just like determined to get him out. Even after he was born, everyone taking care of me was super nice. Um, Visiting got very light. Like I know with COVID, limitations got stricter and stuff. But when we went, like we had like 5 people in our room, and they didn't get strict until the nighttime. But we were only in the hospital for one night. So we came Sunday night at like 6:30 p.m. and we left Tuesday morning at no, we left Tuesday at 1 p.m. So he was born on Monday from birth. He was born Monday at 6:05 a.m. And then we got to leave the next day at 1 p.m., 1 o'clock. So we were only there for like a little over 24 hours, like maybe 30 something hours. Um, and honestly, my experience was amazing. But I remember being very scared and preparing for the worst. And I'm just like so happy and so thankful that he's here and we're both healthy. And I couldn't ask for anything else. All I cared about was having him come healthy and me be healthy through it, and us just getting to enjoy our family. So whatever was going to happen, I was going to be happy with, as long as we were both healthy. And yeah. So this is Mr. Coda Bear. His hairs are flicking up. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's like whistling while he's sleeping. But yeah, that's basically my story. I don't know. I feel like I got everything in there, but I'm thinking of doing like a postpartum video and letting you guys have more questions and do like a question and answer thing. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm glad that I get to enjoy my whole summer with him. And I don't know, whatever you guys want to ask, go ahead and ask it. I love helping people out. I would love to answer your questions. I'm not a professional. This is my first baby, and I don't know. I'm just taking it day by day and learning from my friends and everything. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like this video, and if if you have other questions that you thought of during, just drop them in the comments and I usually answer everything. Or I can also do another video about my postpartum and go into details about that and any questions you have for that. But yeah, thanks for watching.